All right. This says one of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. See, we saw in that marathon that you're not defeated no matter where you are in the race. As long as you run a smart race and you're trained and prepared and willing to make the necessary steps at the right time, take the necessary steps at the right time to improve your position just a little bit. You're not trying to win the race overnight. You just, at certain times in your steady pace, you want to improve your situation just a little bit. That's how you win the race.
This is what's up.
Oh yeah, it's your boy Live in Tweet City, yo. And if you ain't talking about getting paid, you ain't talking about nothing, yo. Now this is the national anthem for everybody who knows what it feels like to get up every morning and have to punch that clock, knowing you feel like quitting, but you can't stop. I am tired of working every day. I am tired of working every day.
I am so excited. But first, before we get started, please hit the subscribe button if you're not already a member of the Money Team on YouTube, baby. Yeah, and while we're at it, before you get started, you know you're going to like it. Hit the like button and make sure you hit the notification bell so you can get all these notifications, man. So you can be up on when we doing live, when we showing you how to make money and all this good stuff. Today is not about the money, though. Today is about what's inside of you, man. What you are made of. Because a lot of people don't understand that success is a marathon, not a sprint. You can't run 100 yards and expect to be successful. You can't work hard for a good week and a half and expect to be successful. 2 weeks won't get you successful, folks. All right. And the thing is, a marathon starts out with a lot of people. Notice that marathons, if you think about the big marathons that are out there, you see crowds and crowds of people just huddled up around the starting line, right? Everybody wants to participate. And then as they start running, you see people start falling back. They hadn't quit. They're just falling back. And sometimes the leader falls back too. We're going to get to that. But you see people start falling back. You see some people just take off running. Oh, man, they just running. And most of the time, the people that are running really fast in the beginning are the ones that are not going to win. They're probably going to lose. All right? Because it's always that one that was just cruising in the back that just comes out of nowhere at the end of the race and starts picking up speed and just comes out of nowhere and just tears it up, right? Excuse me, y'all. Phone's doing something weird. But that's how you know we're about to get good because, the devil don't like the truth. So we're about to break this thing down. We're about to break this marathon thing down, okay? And success is a marathon. So what happens is everybody, you got hundreds and hundreds of people crowding at the starting line. Everybody takes off running fast, and then the pack kind of divides, separates a little bit. You have some that, some get out fast, some kind of lag back, but it's the ones right there in the middle that just find some comfort in the whole race. That's where your winners come from usually. It's not the ones all the way in the back, all the way in the front. It's usually that crowd that's right there in the middle saying, hey, we just running, man. They line, they like to get behind each other, line up. And then all of a sudden, that street starts to separate the men from the boys, the real from the fake. that long stretch after about, 3, 4, 5 miles in, somebody catches a cramp. Somebody who wasn't prepared, somebody who didn't do their homework, somebody who was in it for the quick fix, get the cramp. Bam. So now they're out of it. Boom. All right, but they're passing out water. We're about that 5 miles, and they start passing out water, and everybody's still looking good. You got those running hard. They're trying to get as far ahead as they can, because guess what? They know they're going to get tired. So they're trying to run as fast as they can, because they know that monkey is going to catch up with them. And at that point, they want to have enough room to where when everything starts falling apart on them, they're still in the lead. But notice how this method and strategy never works. We're going to keep going. So they're passing out water. Everybody's dapping up the people who made it to mile 5 or whatever. And all of a sudden, you see people start peeling off. Mile 5, everybody was getting high fives. But that was enough for some people. Because now, you got the first people who weren't prepared. They start cramping up early. And then you got the second crowd who got the little high fives, and they're satisfied with, making it far. I made it far. I didn't make it to the end, but I made it far. So they're satisfied. So that's when they start to quit. The first layer of quitters start to happen around that time. People start to backing off. Or you'll find people just fall way to the back and basically start walking. And they're satisfied with walking all the way to the finish line, even though they know they'll have a horrible time. They won't finish with any dignity other than they made it the full distance. And hey, at least they didn't quit, right? All right, so keep going. Now, that large crowd that you started with is now nice little comfortable pack now. Now you can see the runners. You can see the numbers. You can see the faces. You can see who's who, right? Oh, we hit mile 10. Starting to separate the men from the boys now. Now you're starting to see some distance between those who are really prepared and who really have the right mindset, who really are focused on the goal, right? And they'll keep going. And then all of a sudden, that middle crowd will get the notion, you know what? It's time to pick up the pace a little bit. Put some pressure on these guys that's behind me, right? And they'll pick up the pace. And the people in the front say, they're catching up. I better pick up my pace. But we know that's a mistake, because it's the guys in the middle that find that comfort zone in just running the race steady, and just even pace. Not trying to move too fast out the gate. Not trying to use going too slow as a crutch. But they're leaning on what they prepared. They're leaning on their training. They're leaning on their heart and determination. And they know that if they just stay in the race long enough and pick up the pace just a little bit at times to put pressure on the people behind them, and the people in front of them feel that pressure, next thing you know, they've caused the people in the front to run a little too fast. Now they're tiring out. They start to fall back. So now, by default, those steady pace runners are starting to make their way to the next stage ahead, right? They're coming in now. Now, instead of being 19th place, they're in 12th place. Steady as she goes, though. Steady as she goes. So they're running, and all of a sudden, that steady, even pace outlasts the people that were way out in front. All of a sudden, one of them catches a cramp. Now that 12 is turned into 9th place. Steady as she goes. Okay? But because they have conserved energy, but prepared heavily and have the right mindset, and they know when to time their bursts of energy, all of a sudden they speed up just a little bit. They get into 6th place. Now in the 5th place. It's a new sheriff in town. This is what's happening in your business. Okay? What I'm trying to say is the key to being successful in your business is finding a steady, comfortable pace. Okay? But first, leaning on your training and understanding of the length of the race. You have to understand that the race is long, not short. This isn't a sprint. A sprint, fastest man to the line, bam, over with. Okay? That's what that's the job. First one to the end of the week gets paid. Bye. See ya. Yeah, right? But this success thing is so much greater. It's so much more of a distance race. Okay? It's not 100 yards. It's not 200 yards. It's not 400 yards. It's 25 miles. Okay? That means you have to not only be able to run a good solid mile in a decent time, and you have to not only be able to run 5 miles with a lot of strength, you got to be able to do that 5 times straight and then compete against other people who are trained in your field. All right? So let's get back to the race though, because we're almost about to win and we're about to see why so few people make it to the end. Right? So few people make it to the end that all these last 5 have to do is just keep running their pace. And nothing can stop them. Right? And you're in that number if you pace yourself. First, you have to train. You got to follow through with the training. You got to learn what it is you need to know first. A lot of people don't give themselves time to learn what they need to know, and they come in sprinting and they blow a gasket, cramp up, pull a muscle before they even make it to the first mile marker. This is what's happening to a lot of you. Okay? But right now in the race, we got a few at the top that are just keeping a steady pace. They trained hard. They learned their craft, took the time to get good at the small sections of the race, and then they learned to time themselves so that the timing of their burst would be so that it was effective. They put in the time to be great. They put in the time to be comfortable at this long distance, so that when the time came for them to put on the burners, it wouldn't cause them defeat. All right, and we're going to talk about defeat here in a minute, because a lot of you are right there facing your goal, but at the same time facing defeat, and you don't know how to function in that space. Okay, but what you need to do is just keep steady pace. Steady pace. The rest of it will fall off if you keep a steady pace. The issues you're experiencing in your company, in your business, these things that you're experiencing will fall off if you just keep a steady pace. Right? For some of you, it's money. For some of you, it's computer literacy. For some of you, it's time. You don't have a lot of time. Whatever your issue is, if you just keep a steady pace, all of that stuff will fall off. And you'll find that you're left in the heat of the race, in the top of the pack. Right? You're like that number 5. You're like that runner that's got number 5 now. You're in the 5th place now. Okay? And in your heart you got more to give. You haven't even turned on the burners yet. Okay, this is the mentality you have to have in business. You have to keep a steady pace, an even head. Don't blow yourself out in the beginning. Spend the beginning of your experiences in your business learning. Just focus on learning. And so that you will have the stamina to make it through the middle of the race. In chess, they have what they call an opening game. Then they have a middle game. then they have an end game, right? And in everything, in every part of life, there's something similar to that. And in business, you have the opening part of the race where you really have to rely on your training, your discipline, your pace. And then you have the middle of the race where you have to rely on your savvy, your intelligence, your willingness to stay focused on not the problems that you see. That would be the people that you're in competition with. You're putting pressure on your problems by timing your burst. Same thing is, we could easily replace each member of the race in a marathon with some problem or some issue that you're up against. You start out that business with a crowd of issues. And if you're not careful, you will look at them and you will think, oh man, I got too much stuff that I got to worry about. So this is not going to work. This is not for me. When this is a marathon, people, all you really have to do is stay on pace. Stay at a comfortable pace for you. Don't get too frustrated in the beginning. You see people jumping out in front of you. Oh man, such and such is making so many sales. I hadn't made any. Don't worry about that. The business downtown is doing this and doing that, and I can't seem to keep the lights on. Don't worry about that. That's just competition. What you have to worry about is finding your pace that you're comfortable at, and know that the race itself will eliminate the competition for you. If you stay on course, no matter where you are right now in this pack of issues that you have, if you just stay on course, I don't care if it's health, I don't care if it's money, I don't care if it's you don't have a computer, I don't care if you don't have money to advertise. Whatever the competition in your race is, whatever it is that you're up against, it will all fall off if you keep a steady pace and stay in the race. Now, back to our story. We're in 5th place now. All right, we're in the last 5 miles, folks. We can see that trophy in our hand. We can see ourselves holding up that trophy. We can see it. We know it's possible. Okay, but you're in the last 5 miles. Now, you got one issue, another issue, and one more issue to tackle, and you're done. This may be money. This may be making some calls. This may be following up with some people. This may be, all the different type of things. Could be, I gotta get time. I gotta get some free time. Whatever it is that's in front of you at the very tail end of this race, you can't let it stop you. Okay? And trust me, there's gonna always be something in front of you that you're up against in order for you to succeed. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking success is a straight and narrow road. Success is a winding road. Okay? It takes you all over the place. Okay? And a lot of times it's just a test. The universe is testing you to see if you really want what you're asking the universe to grant you. Okay? So, you're in 5th place. Now you really hitting it now. Okay? You're spending a little bit more on advertisement. You're staying up a little bit later now at night to go back and go over some things, to study. You're making a few more phone calls. You're calling some people back that have already turned you down. You're taking on these 4 issues in front of you head on. All of a sudden, bam, somebody you call back lets you know that, hey, I wasn't telling you no, I was just busy. And bam, now you're in 4th place. You put a little bit more money in the advertisement than you were comfortable doing. Now you're in 3rd place. You're getting more business. Next thing you know, I stayed up late. I found something. I noticed something that I can do better. I can change something about my system. Now you're in second place. It's you and the finish line. You got one thing in front of you. All you got to do now is believe and find that one missing piece. You dig, you stay up late, you make the extra call, you spend the extra money, you read back over the training material for the 10th time. You call, you make a difference. You meditate, you go exercise, you do whatever it takes. Next thing you know, you're in first place. Now all you gotta do is not mess it up. Just not mess it up. Keep making the phone calls. Keep investing more in advertisement. Keep exercising every day. Start eating the right foods. Pray, meditate, do everything the right way till you get to this finish line. And I guarantee you, you will cross the line successful. This is how success goes, folks. It's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. And most people blow it in the very beginning of the race. Now I want to take the book Think and Grow Rich. You should all have a copy of this. By the way, I don't know how this is going to look on camera, but Think and Grow Rich. All right. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Hey. All right. Very good book. I'm going to read something from it. As a matter of fact, a very wealthy person, man of $25 million. All right. He's worth $25 million. He told me a long time ago, he said, Law, you need to carry this book with you everywhere you go, and you need to read it every day. And when you finish reading it, you need to start back over from page 1 and read it again. And when you finish, start back over and read it again. Okay? And he says, keep this book with you every day and keep starting over until you reach the finish line. Right? He says, I guarantee you if you do that, there's no goal that you won't be able to achieve. So I'm challenging you guys, get this book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Get you a little copy of it. They make some real small copies of it, right? They make some pocket-sized copies of it, right? I don't care what size you get. They got them in all shapes and sizes. Get this book and read it every day. And when you finish, start over, read it again. And when you finish, start over, read it again, and keep reading it again, and keep reading it again until you reach your goals. Now, I'm going to read something from it that's going to make a lot of sense, right? There's a part in this book called 3 Feet from Gold. 3 Feet from Gold. Before we finish this video, I want to read this for you. 3 Feet from Gold. One of the most common causes of failure, the book says, is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. I'll read that again. This is from the section called 3 Feet from Gold. It says one of the most common causes of failure is the habit. Guys, the habit. That means you do this all the time. Okay, let's start again. One of the most common causes, that means this happens all the time, is the habit of quitting. We can stop right there before we even finish this. Habit of quitting. Habit of quitting. This is a habit that so many common people have. This is why so many people are not successful, because of the habit of quitting. I am going to do a video about that. We're going to talk about the habit of quitting in another video. All right. Mark my words. All right. This says one of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. See, we saw in that marathon that you're not defeated no matter where you are in the race. as long as you run a smart race and you're trained and prepared and willing to make the necessary steps at the right time, take the necessary steps at the right time to improve your position just a little bit. You're not trying to win the race overnight. You just, at certain times in your steady pace, you want to improve your situation just a little bit. That's how you win the race. Anyway, all right. One of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. Every person is guilty of this mistake at one time or another. Every person is guilty of this mistake at one time or another. Guilty of what? Guilty of the habit of quitting. Quitting what? At the first sign of temporary defeat. That's why so many people in a marathon pull a muscle in the beginning of the race. Half of them not even pulling a muscle. That's just a good way to get off camera without anybody saying you quit. Back to excuses. We're going to keep going. An uncle of R.U. Darby was caught by the gold fever in the gold rush days and went west to dig and grow rich. He had never heard that more gold has been mined from the brains of men than has ever been taken from the earth. Again, I'm going to read this again, folks. This is a key point. He had never heard that more gold has been mined from the brains of men than has ever been mined from the earth. What does that mean? He had never realized that the true gold is in the mind of man. More gold is true in the mind of man than in the earth. While people are lining up to dig into the earth to find gold, this book is telling you that hardly any of them understand that there is more gold to dig for in their mind. The true value is in your head. That's what this is saying. We're going to keep going. R.U. Darby, had never heard that more gold. He had never heard the saying that more gold has been mined from the brains of men than has ever been taken from the earth. He staked a claim and went to work with pick and shovel. He started mining gold, y'all. He had heard about the gold rush. He came to probably San Francisco and started doing what everybody else was doing, chasing the dream of getting rich by mining gold. This is in the book, Think and Grow Rich. Okay? Now, so he staked a claim and went to work with pick and shovel. He started mining for gold. The going was hard, but his lust for gold was absolutely definite. Folks, before we go any further, immediately once he started reaching for his dream with all the tools that were necessary in the right place at the right time, the going immediately got hard. Immediately. Remember the marathon. Let's keep going. The going was hard, but his lust for gold was definite. After weeks of labor, he was rewarded by the discovery of the shining one. What does he mean? The shining ore? The shining gold? Did he immediately find some shiny piece of gold? Did he make his first sale in your company? Would this be your first sale? Did you get your first contact? Did you make some form of progress in your first contact immediately when it became hard? Let's see what happens. After weeks of labor, he was rewarded by the discovery of the shining ore. He needed machinery to bring the ore to the surface. Quietly, he covered up the mine. He didn't want anybody to know. Retraced his footsteps to his home in Williamsburg, Maryland, and told his relatives and a few neighbors of the strike. And y'all have to forgive me. He might have been somewhere besides San Francisco. Who knew? All right. Now, what happened? Quietly, he covered up his mine. He found a little pebble of gold. He covered up his mine because he didn't want anybody to know about it. He retraced his steps back to his home so he could find his way back, creating kind of a map, and told his relatives and only a few neighbors, because he didn't want anybody to know, that he had struck gold. But it was just a little bit of gold. He'd only made it to the first he made it to the first little mile. He made it to the first 5 miles in the marathon. They started handing out cups of water. And he had made a little bit. Some people would have been happy with that and went home. He said, no, I'm coming back for more. But I'm going to pace myself. All right? Now, so they got together money for the needed machinery and had it shipped. Okay? So obviously who he was talking to, they came up with some money because he needed machinery to dig for this gold. He found where the gold was. He just needed some machinery now. So he went in, he reached out to some other people that he knew, something that y'all people a lot of times are scared of to do in business. He reached out to some of the people he knew and asked for help, right? They had the machinery shipped to where he was. Now, the uncle and Darby went back to work the mine. All right? And this is a short story. We only got another, about 2/3 of a page. So bear with me. The first car of ore was mined and shipped to a smelter. So that means he had you ever seen those little containers with the wheels under where they put all the dirt and it's got gold in there. So the first car of ore was shipped to a smelter, right? Now, the returns proved they had one of the richest mines in Colorado. So they were in Colorado. A few more cars of that ore would clear the depths. The first car of that ore, would clear the debt. The first car of that ore would clear the debt. I made a mistake, y'all. I want y'all to hear me. The first car of that ore, the material where the gold was lurking, was enough of a financial return to cover the debt that it costs for the machinery. A lot of you guys, when you hear about business, you go into business, you're thinking it's all profit. You're thinking it's all going to be easy, peaches and cream. Everything you do is just going to work out. But a lot of times when you break even, that's success is what I'm talking about. That's success. Okay? That's success. When you break even, that's success. You got to keep going. You got to keep running. Okay? Now, and if anybody needs to know what ore is, just look it up. But I'm assuming it's it's dirt mixed with gold. Okay, but if you got the right ore, you know it because you can see gold in it. All right, and some of you can see you can see potential in what you're doing, and just a little bit of time in what you put in into what you put in. Just a little bit of time you've put into what you're doing, you can already see potential. That's what they're talking about here. An ore, right? A mixture of what you're looking for and a little bit of what you're going to throw away. Okay? Now, here we go. The returns proved they had one of the richest mines in Colorado. A few more cars of that ore would clear the debts. Then would come the big killing in profits. All he had to do was just keep going. Keep going. He's already breaking even. He sees the potential. He sees the potential and he's already breaking even. Okay. Down went the drills. Uh-oh. Here comes your challenge. Here's who's in front of you. Down went the drills. He's got all of this success right there in front of him, and the drills went down. What are you going to do now? He just managed to pay for the doggone thing. Don't worry. He's got a choice to make. Quit now or keep going. Up went the hopes of Darby and the uncle. Doesn't that sound like the habit of quitting? Then something happened. The vein of gold ore disappeared. Uh-oh. My potential is not even there anymore. Not only did my investment only pay me enough to break even, I now don't have the equipment. And on top of that, now the pipeline of that gold mixture is gone. It disappeared. What happened? Guys, this always happens. But you're about to see why you need to be listening and why you need to make sure you stay on this path and keep running this race. Right? They had come to the end of the rainbow, and the pot of gold was no longer there. They drilled on, desperately trying to pick up the vein again, all to no avail. They couldn't find what they had going. It's looking bad, folks. Some of you are ready to quit just listening. Finally, they decided to quit. Perfect timing. This is when most people quit. But this is Think and Grow Rich. There's got to be a point to this. There's got to be a happy ending. They sold the machinery to a junk man for a few $100s and took the train back home. Really? But hey, who could blame them? It sounds like the perfect idea right about now. Let's look at it. You broke even. So, hey, don't risk anything else. You broke even. The machine broke down, so I'm surely not going to pay to have it fixed. Surely not going to invest any more time and money. I'm surely not going to buy another one. And I have no reason to because it doesn't look good anymore. I don't see any gold. I don't see any pipeline to where I can pull more ore or more gold, more nuggets, more money. I want the money. I want the quick money. I want a sprint, not a marathon. I want to work for a week and get paid at the end of the week, Law. I don't want a marathon. Come on, man. And y'all forgive me, man. I know it looks bright in here on camera, but it's really dark in this room. And I'm doing my best to read off this page without any light. Okay, so just know that. All right, so bear with me. We're gonna keep going. Finally, they decided to quit. They sold the machinery to a junk man for a few $100s and took the train back home. Some junk men are dumb, but not this one. Let me say that again. Some junk men are dumb, but not this one. He called in a mining engineer to look at the mine and do a little calculating. The engineer advised that the project had failed because the owners were not familiar with the fault lines. Education, training. This is why most people blow a gasket. This is why most people pull a muscle in the beginning of the race. Because they fail to put in the time to learn the ups and downs, the ins and outs of their industry. Instead of trying to win the race in a sprint, you should be trying to master your craft in the beginning. And if you break even, you're successful. But you got to keep going. His calculations showed the vein would be found just 3 feet from where the Darbys had stopped drilling. That is exactly where it was found. The junk man took millions of dollars in ore from the mine because he knew enough to seek expert counsel before giving up. Y'all didn't hear me. He knew enough to seek expert counsel before giving up. So when you get ready to quit, should you A, turn in all of your equipment, sell it all back, run for the hills, or B, reach out to your team leader and see if you can't get some advice on what could possibly be going wrong? So which one are you? Are you the dumb junk man who figured it out? Or are you the smarty pants that has a habit of quitting as soon as the going gets tough? Right? Most of the money which went into the machinery was procured through the efforts of R.U. Darby, who was then a very young man. The money came from his relatives and neighbors because of their faith in him. Your team believes in you. That's why they joined you. He paid back every dollar of it, although it took years to do so. Long after Mr. Darby recouped his loss many times over, when he made the discovery that desire can be transmuted into gold. Let me reread that because it's dark in here and I'm messing up some of the words. Long afterwards, Mr. Darby recouped his loss many times over when he made the discovery that desire can be transmuted into gold. All right? He learned this discovery after he went into the business of selling life insurance. So you're talking about a man who had millions in his hands, who had to learn the lesson of quitting too soon without getting expert advice. He finally changed his ways and he became successful. proving that success will come if you don't quit, and also proving that success may be closer than you think. And if you don't release and get rid of that habit of quitting when faced with temporary failure, you will be like R.U. Darby, and you will miss out on the pot of gold that's at the end of your rainbow. My name is Law Hilson. It's been a business doing pleasure with you. Look for me to do videos on a daily basis. We have more coming. We're going to show you how to take a simple business and turn it into the lifestyle of your dreams. We're going to show you the ins and outs of how to market online, how to be successful online, how to work from home, all of that good stuff. We're going to keep you up to date on how you can become the best you and reach the finish line and hold up that trophy. All right. I want to also remind you to get this book, Think and Grow Rich. You can go in it and read all the little stuff I messed up on and keep reading it over and over. All right. So if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. There's a red button somewhere around. I want you to give it an uppercut, give it a right cross, kiss it, do whatever you want to do to it. Just make sure you press it so that you can be a part of this team. I'm Law Hilson with the Money Team. Also want you to hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified each and every time we put up a video. And hit the like button if you like it. And if for some reason you disliked it, hit the dislike button and leave a comment below. Let us know what you think. I'm out. It's been awesome, y'all.
And if you ain't talking about getting paid, you ain't talking about nothing, yo. Now this is the national anthem for everybody who knows what it feels like to get up every morning and have to punch that clock, knowing you feel like quitting, but you can't stop. I get tired of working every day. 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 Woke up this morning with the sun in my eyes. Can someone tell me what's the reason why? Why must we work all day from 9 to 5? Can't get no rest unless you live in the sky.
Sky high, give me wings, I gotta fly. This job don't ease the stress, somebody lied. Yeah, they love to hate when they see me ride nice, but they don't really know about the job overnight. I need them nice things, I deserve that diamond ring. Work 8 days a week, I'm still up on my knees. I'm screening my calls, the collectors on the phone. You get your money when I get mine, leave me alone.
I need a little something, I need a little something, I'll pay you back when I get paid. Let me hear you say. I need a little something, I need a little something, I'll pay you back when I get paid. Let the choir sing. I need a little something, I'll pay you a little something, let me pay you back when I get paid. Let me hear you say. I need a little something, let me hold a little something, I'll pay you back when I get paid. Now everybody say, I get tired of you say working every day, working every day. I get tired of working every day. Let me hear you say, I get tired of working every day. Now everybody say, I get tired of working every day. In the morning I be yawning as I'm headed for the water. You expect me to work at $7.25? What kind of living is this? Got me tired tight as a fist. Been wanna crack me some heads just to let off the stress. I gotta get on my hustle to build up my muscle. Bill stack so high, I'm thinking I'm seeing double. Believe it won't be long before the mind's thinking wrong. Be locked up in jail, then the outcast like comes on. Mama said, boy,